Right. Good morning, everyone. I think in order to stay on time, we should probably get started. People are still trickling in, but they can join while we are already going. First of all, thanks for being here. Great to see you all. And welcome to the 2023 Aspect Virtual User Meeting. If you wanted to attend another CIG event, then you're in the wrong meeting. Otherwise, welcome. This is meant as an informal meeting of Aspect users and people interested in Aspect to exchange ideas and stories. And we hope to make it an enjoyable experience for everyone. If something is not running as you expected or as intended, then please feel free to let us know. Also, if you haven't seen in the announcement that we would like to make a little introductory round soonish at the beginning of this meeting, then please head over to this link down here, bit.ly/2023-aspect-user-meeting. There is a presentation there that's called One Slide Introductions. And if you have a bit of time, feel free to create a slide for yourself, or just think about what you want to say and talk about it when we get there. Before we get started, I want to mention a few rules for the meeting to make it go smoothly. So first of all, please make sure that you mute yourself when you're not speaking or asking questions. It makes it easier for everyone to follow if there are no other noises or background noise. Please keep your camera on if you feel comfortable. It makes it easier to interact with people and to speak up and ask questions. This meeting will be recorded and uploaded, but we will limit the recordings to the presentations and will keep the discussions offline in order to make everyone comfortable to discuss away. You can find all the materials for this meeting and probably also the recordings at the same link that I mentioned earlier. So bit.ly/2023-aspect-user-meeting. And we wanted to mention that this is a CIG event. So we expect everyone to follow the CIG code of conduct that you can find on geodynamics.org, which essentially said we want this meeting to be comfortable for everyone and free of any form of harassment or negative intent between members. So please be polite to each other and avoid any form of discrimination. I wanted to get started. So before we get into the introduction, I wanted to get started with a quick retrospective on 2022 to set us all up for this meeting and see what happened in the last year with Aspect and its community. So there are plenty of reasons to be thankful for what happened in 2022. We had our first post-pandemic hackathon in May in Wyoming. It was a hybrid event, the first one post-pandemic that actually happened in person again, although the in-person component was smaller than usual, and we had a hybrid meeting with virtual participants. You can see in the development graph of Aspect over time that we produced one of our regular hackathon peaks, which was bigger than the ones that we had in the 2 years before, where the hackathon had to happen purely online. So that was a nice thing to see. We had 25 papers or theses published last year that used Aspect in 2022, and that are only the ones that we know of. And this brings me to a request. If you have the time, please check our website, aspect.geodynamics.org/publications.html, or the CIG website, geodynamics.org, and then navigate to the Aspect page. If you had any publications with Aspect that are not on one of those two sites, then please let us know about them. It helps you because we can advertise your papers and we are aware of what is happening with Aspect, and it also helps us to justify all the work that we put into Aspect. And I wanted to say a big thank you to everyone who has spent a lot of their time on making Aspect better last year answering questions on the forums, making one of those commits that's on the timeline there, or just generally helping other people or following the community. A big thank you to all of you. Last year, we saw the release of Aspect 2.4.0. It was in July. And you can find the release notes on our GitHub page or also on our website. And since then, we have already accumulated 14 new significant changes that you can, as always, find on our website. As I mentioned, we had our first in-person hackathon after the pandemic, or well, in the later stages of the pandemic, the first one that was online again, 17 participants on site. We had daily meetings between the online and the on-site participants, and you can find all of the development that happened in the log document of the hackathon, which is linked here. You don't need to take a picture of the screen. These slides are also available in the Google Drive folder that you get to using the link in the bottom right. So you can find that log if you are interested to look at what we did. One significant result of the hackathon is the new documentation system that I will talk about after we did our introductory round. Another result of the hackathon was that we found out that Wyoming can be very cold in May, as you can see on this picture, which we hadn't quite expected, but it was a great event nonetheless. And that brings us to our meeting today. So we had a large number of registered participants. We will see, not everyone can make it all the time, of course, so we will see how many we get at any one time. But as you can see, the number of participants has been growing. We have been doing this for 4 years now. This is the 4th year. And the number of registered participants keeps increasing. So at some point, we may have to change the format of this meeting or think about what to do if we cannot introduce everyone at the beginning. But that's great. That means we have more and more people interested in what's happening with Aspect, and we're very happy about that. As I said, the purpose of this meeting is to learn about Aspect, to get some answers if you have questions, to connect with other users in the community, and, well, to prepare Aspect for the future. So before we go over to the presentations and discussions, we wanted to start with a little introductory round where everyone can briefly introduce themselves to the group. Keep in mind, we have plenty of people here and we have scheduled at most 45 minutes for this, so please keep it short and try to be within 1 minute.